stream. So Jan will just do the introduction.
Okay.
You can start, Jan.
Hi everyone.
No, it's a bit like.
Hi everyone. We all know that generating sales and cold calling are only the tip of a sales cycle, which is often long and complicated. So here we have joining us today is Charmain Tan. She is the co-founder of sales solution startup Pear Comms. She'll be expounding on ways and to optimize and create your sales processes. Charmain Tan, would you like to share a bit about your background and your startup?
Hi everyone, I'm Charmain, the founder of Pear Comms. I'm very thankful to be able to join in for this sharing session. Hopefully my sharing helps a bit. So to give a bit of background, so a lot of people ask me, who am I, why I do what I do. A bit of background is I run the company Pear Comms. We build a product called QuickDesk. But a more important thing is why even I do this, right? Because a lot of people see it as CRM. It's a very complex product. So many big giants in the space. Why me? So give you a bit of background on what I did before Pear Comms and QuickDesk. So when I was 21, I wanted to be an entrepreneur to solve my own pain point. So I was living and working in Sweden. I couldn't use my iPhone because it was really cold. My normal gloves didn't function. And even if I could find one with conductive tips, it was just not warm enough. So wanting to solve that problem, I invented winter gloves with touchscreen capabilities. So you could see on the right, that was how we first designed our gloves to solve my own pain point. So the reason why solving a pain point is really important because I believe that running a business, you need to value add. It makes running a startup a lot more fun and valuable. So we kickstarted, invented, and commercialized QuickDesk ISGLOVES in 2011, 2012. We won various awards, Red Dot Design Award, World Invention Awards, on every other media like Business Times, Yahoo, Routers. So many people think that after creating a great product validated by various awards, we'll be on our way to hit the jackpot. So that's the thoughts, right? But at a point in time, there was a saying, without sales, even the best innovation in the world, your company will suffer. So you can see on the right, these were all the various gloves that we developed and commercialized, boxes and boxes of them. So we managed to sell it globally. You could see the photos in US, in Japan, Mongolia, UK. So everybody thought, all things are rosy. But the fact is this, our sales numbers were actually not substantial. To build a single product company, you need to penetrate into the market at rocket speed. So soon enough, because it's also a seasonal product, competitors caught up shortly. So what I've learned throughout my first startup, ISGLOVES, is the fact that even as you have a great product, you have a great team, you need great sales, right? So because sales is fundamentally the lifeblood of businesses. And we learned that, to get great sales, it's about reaching out to large distribution network, multiple partners, and of course your own direct sales team being able to build a predictable. So in general, for my first startup, the 3 key lessons I learned is 1, building a product that solves a problem, that makes it scalable. 2, building a business, you first need people. You need a dynamic and committed team. 3, at the end of the day, startup or not startup, you are fundamentally a business. You need sales. You need the revenue to grow the business. So in 2014, I decided to go on a mission to help businesses and sales professionals to not face the same problem as I did, and believing in technology, I actually decided to develop QuickDesk, enabling sales professionals and entrepreneurs with a simplified sales productivity solution. So one thing building QuickDesk has taught me is that building an IT product, audit how engineer think and how to do sales efficiently, at the end of the day, sales is really important in entrepreneurship, and fundamentally one thing in sales is actually also alliance. Today I talked a lot about sharing the key topic of first understanding what's the sales process and also optimizing the sales process. So why is it important to know about sales process? Because it helps you to plan for the different points of engagement, right? It helps you to find bottlenecks in the sales pipeline, allocate resources when necessary. And more importantly, it's always about getting higher ROIs. So that's important in why you should understand the sales process. So where to begin? First, you can start with matching your sales process with the buying process of your target customers. Sometimes, people say, I'm not doing sales. I'm actually just a business development. What does that really mean? It's by first being able to help develop business and reach out to people based on how they buy things. So we always talk about this thing, right? It's always the pipeline, the funnel. It's all about this conversion rate. So what we did is that in our product or even in our business, we always follow this cycle. We bring in hunting, whereby hunting in sales is always about setting appointments, winning to do better follow-up and follow through to close more deals, and farming to get renewal, referral, upsell, and cross-sell. And this is a very basic sales process framework that we use to kickstart QuickDesk, and of course we use internally to generate more sales. So today I will talk to elaborate a bit deeper into hunting. So one thing that we also believe in our company a lot is that actually hunting is even more science than anything else. Because it's always about knowing who you want to target and how to target them. Top of the funnel, generating the leads, generating relevant leads and verify them. It doesn't mean that, if I want to reach out to all SMEs, the question is what type of SMEs? What kind, how big is SME you want to reach out to? So having to qualify them is important. And even preparing on how you want to approach them. We did a very simple experiment. And when we first started this company, we did 3 marketing campaigns. 1, telemarketing. 2, SMS marketing. And 3, email campaign, email marketing to 3 different industries. And we realized something really interesting. Different industries respond to different kind of approaches. So for example, the insurance industry, they respond really well to telemarketing. The property industry, they respond really well to SMS marketing. And the corporate industry, they actually respond really well to email marketing. So that was a real interesting lesson that we learned on how different ways of approaches would be needed to deal with different kind of customers and target market. And of course, reaching out firstly, your first engagement. So we on the top of the funnel, we talk about lead generation. Knowing the buyers is important. And in fact, one more important thing is knowing what's the best way to get these leads. Right, different services and products, you might need to use different kind of approaches. Example, everybody talk about doing digital marketing. So in our own case scenario, we realize that SEM is just too expensive because we are fighting the big boys. So what's a better way to do it? We went to events, we went to do email marketing, phone calls, cold call 2.0, and it really worked for us because we could stand out at a lower cost as compared to doing search engine marketing, which sometimes even costs us like up to $150. So that's one, knowing the different forms of lead generation and choosing the relevant and right one for your type of business and type of customer. Next, after being able to hunt, reach out to them, get an appointment, it's all about winning the deal, right? So it only makes your time is worthwhile spent to an appointment if you could close it. So it's always about efficient follow-up and follow-through, drafting the sales contract and closing the deal. And the question is this: what could help you to win this deal faster and easier? B2C and B2B are very, very different also. B2B, sometimes you need to deal with a lot of stakeholder management. So that's one thing that we need to understand to be able to more efficiently do our deals. And last but not least, we always say this theory, right? CAC, what's CAC? Cost of acquiring a customer. We always, the first customer is always really high in cost. Your best kind of customers is those that stay with you. So how do we do that? By doing good fulfillment, servicing, managing the relationship, and providing to them other relevant solutions that could still value add to them by upselling and cross-selling. So that is the third part of what we believe in and keeping and renewing your customers. So of course, we talk about the sales process. We need people to get it done. Internally, we also split our sales team into 3 key components. 1 is the qualifiers, which is the hunters. 2 is the closers, which is the winners. And 3 is the farmers. And we call them, in the B2B world, we call them SDR for qualifiers and outbound reps. Outbound reps is people who are always going out there, going to the grind and dropping a phone call, email marketing. And inbound reps are those that are really good digitally to generate the leads online. And after getting the qualified lead and knowing that your probability of closing is high, that's when the closers come in place. Many businesses always think that one salesperson should cover it all. But even internally, we realize that it's not about increasing our sales, is not about bringing in more salespeople. is by first understanding a sales process and bringing the right kind of salespeople into the right part of the sales process. So that's what we believe a lot in, breaking down, first understanding a sales process and finding the relevant people in the different parts of the sales process to drive more sales. So what we propose is that to kickstart even a sales journey, it's always first to find out what's your target customer's ideal buying process, write down the required points of engagement at each step of the sales process, determine the metrics of success at each point, how many leads you want to generate, how many appointments you want to generate, and out of how many appointments generate, how many deals you want to close. Check these metrics meticulously and make changes accordingly. We talk about agility being in software development. It's the same for sales. Sometimes we need to do certain tweaks and creativity to be able to achieve your sales numbers. So this is a brief sharing about what we believe a lot in sales process and bringing the relevant salespeople throughout the sales process to drive more sales. And this is just a little learning lesson that we have and we practice internally, and just hope it helps everyone else that is on the call right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Charmain. I have a question. Aside from sales solutions and sales software, right? What are the characteristics of a effective salesperson?
What are the characteristics of an effective salesperson? I think there's many things. So we talk about understanding a sales process. Next, we talk about what are the characteristics. I think one, determination is very important. You're going to face rejections. How do you deal with rejections? How do you deal with objections? So you need to be determined and positive. Two, it's that you need to understand that fundamentally sales is not just about hard selling and making sure the person buy no matter what. It's about matching the value that you offer based on the needs that the clients have. So sometimes we call sales also being a matchmaker. And three, it needs to be as a personality, approachable, because you need people to trust you. And actually, in fact, trust is a very important element. When you win the trust, you have really 50% won the game. Yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Okay. We have a question from June. Actually, 3 questions from June King. Firstly, how does one grow a global sales team, especially when the sales lead is from an Asian country?
Global sales team? Is it like the one salespeople from different countries, or?
Yeah, I think that's what it means.
Okay. So I think at the end of the day, right, there's another theory about sales, all about numbers. So like you could see in this slide, it's about determining metrics. So how do you run a sales team? By first setting sales goals and targets, and every salesperson should be clear in what they need to achieve for the company at that point in time. And I think there's 2 parts of it. One, setting up the key results. 2, understanding how to achieve the key results. And 3, being motivated to achieve the key results. So I think that's 3 key components that are important in managing a global sales team.
I see. Okay, and his second question is, how does one automate a sales funnel if the client target base is a small and medium-sized businesses?
How do you automate a sales funnel?
Yeah.
I think you got to first know like what is the sales approaches that you intend to take. So like example, if your clients respond really well to email, one example is could use email sequencing. So I think the first question back to it is, how would your target customers be preferred to be reached out? Are they constantly on their mobile looking internet? Are they constantly looking at emails? Are they constantly on the phone responding to phone calls? And based on that, you automate it. To be honest with you, I don't think you can completely automate it. Can you automate some parts of it? So like example, right? If you use email marketing, you can use email sequencing to reach out to your customers. If you do telemarketing, you can do scheduled calls. If you do like digital marketing to get leads, you can actually pipe leads into get your leads online, pipe leads into CRM, and do inside sales towards getting conversion. So that I would say is the answer for.
Okay. His third question is also related to hiring. How does one recruit an international sales force but maintain a high level of professionalism?
Wow, there's a lot about talent management.
Yeah.
I think it's important that in terms of managing the professionalism, I think that one is quite people dependent. It's really hard to answer that question. But I think the first thing first is that the salespeople have to be aligned with the values and the vision about the company. They need to be first bought in to why the company is doing this, because sales can sometimes be a very lonely job. And once they are motivated towards achieving their goal, that's when they will focus on getting professional performance. But in terms of how you can keep them on performance, some companies use enforcement methodology. Some companies use soft approach motivational. And I think for him himself, he also need to know what kind of leader is he. Is he the kind that could motivate salespeople by hyping them up, or is he the kind that could get the salespeople to do things by enforcing processes? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I've got a question from a business development person. What are some tips on pushing and closing a deal?
Tips on pushing and closing a deal. I think that's a lot about like what is the deal all about sometimes, right? I think there's a few things to think about. What kind of closing techniques is most relevant? So some closing techniques are, example, creating a sense of urgency that, if you want this is the best time to get it. So promotional campaigns are built for that reason. The next thing is that we also have closing techniques like the value that you could deliver, and why, why should they do it now, and how do you better negotiate so that they would be appealed to getting it from you instead of someone else. So knowing your competitors, who else is on the table, who might be competing for you to get the deal, it's important. Yeah, so these are the various kind of, there's so many different techniques that you can talk about in terms of closing. But the best thought is always by first understanding how the person buy and what will make the person buy from you instead of someone else.
You think the sales team should spend more resources attacking the big fish, or should they be closing more small deals instead?
I think that question, it fundamentally talk about the business model though, right? Like every type of sales have its own pros and cons, right? So bigger fish, longer sales cycle. Does the company have enough to sustain a longer sales cycle? Smaller fish, you can get more volume deals, but what's the volume that you need to your next level? So I wouldn't say that's a sales problem. It's more of business model problem. And last but not least, is this value that the company delivers more suited for large company or small company? Yeah.
We got one question from Kevin. In your opinion, is it worthwhile for a young startup to have high customer acquisition costs just to make those first sales, or is that putting off a disaster for later?
I think there's many factors to determine, what makes a disaster for later. But to answer the question, I think the key question is, what does the company intend to achieve? What is their objectives for the quarter or even for the year, right? Are they looking out to win the market in terms of more market share? If yes, then of course, you got to spend it, right? But if they want to be able to understand their customers better, they're at the early phase of the startup, then maybe it's about engaging the customers more closely. So the cost of acquiring a customer sometimes is also based on what techniques you use, right? So I would say what's more important is knowing what's the business objectives at that point in time. What do they hope to achieve? More users, more customers in terms of volume, or being able to do market validation, right? So it's so part of the business objective links to which phase of the business it's that company in.
Okay. So based on your experience and your observations, what are some of the more common misconceptions or mistakes that both young and experienced sales team make? Hello? Sorry, did you hear my last question?
No, I lost you completely.
So I asked, based on your experience and your observations, what are some of the misconceptions that sales team have Yeah.
A salesperson do end-to-end?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my answer is one of the common misconceptions is that a salesperson have to do their sales end-to-end. That's one. So that means they expect a salesperson to do both hunting and closing. Two, it's that a if you are a salesperson, you can sell anything. The matter of fact is this: every salesperson is different too, right? So some salespeople are good B2C, some good salespeople are good B2B. Three, that sales, it's all about doing whatever it takes to get the money in. That's not true, because at the end of the day, there's another aspect of it is that is the company even able to fulfill what's sold. So it's about getting the right match and right fit. So I think that's the three common misconceptions I get to hear a lot about salespeople, and that's why in some companies they don't even call their salespeople. Sometimes they call them like business development reps, or they call them, which is correct. Or another one, I know some of my friends do very interesting names like opportunity creator. Yeah.
So what was that? Opportunity creator.
Somebody who creates opportunity, which is pretty much sales. But they decided that sales sounds like a taboo word, so let's not use salesperson as a name.
But it's still sales at the end of the day.
Yes.
Okay. So what advice will you give people who have no track record? How do they approach their first few sales?
I would say the key fundamental and the first step is first to reach out to the target market, reach out to the first customer, speak to them, identifying their needs, and see whether or not the products and services they deliver could even fit their needs. Understanding the customer is always the first key.
Okay. Tell me, and what are some of the successful case studies you have observed over the years, and what lessons can we draw from there?
Case studies in terms of
technical sales pitches, or even based on own experience,
I think one of the most interesting thing about selling or like sales pitches is when you are able to gain the trust of your client and know that all you are doing is the value add to them. Yeah, that's one of the most, like, there was this saying, right? Selling, sometimes the best salesperson do not actually sell, because all they do is doing matching. So and in fact, these actually, sometimes there's also another theory called the give and take. There's even a book called Adam Grant, which talks a lot about sometimes when you have to first give before you can take, means that sometimes when you offer a certain value relevant to the client, then they will believe you, trust you, then buy from you. So it's about first caring and valuing your clients.
Okay. So what kind of what would you recommend a salesperson read? What kind of literature or blogs should they read to improve their sales process?
Personally, I like the book called The Predictable Sales Revenue. That's one of my favorite sales books, or The Sales Acceleration Formula. These are two books that are really good, especially for people who want to do sales in tech.
Okay, and blogs or online resources, what would you recommend?
There's no specific blog that I look into, but I mean, there are a lot of good sales articles and Medium as well as OpenView.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Charmain, for participating. We hope you enjoyed the AMA, and we hope to see you soon.
Definitely. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.